Hello everybody, it is bright and early on a Saturday morning and I am playing in the Qualifier weekend day 1 for the Arena Qualifier. It's standard, so of course I'm playing blue-black midrange. Let's go over the deck real quick and then hop into it. So, similar list to what I've been running if you've been keeping up with my videos, except now I have a Tidebinder instead of a 3 steps ahead. I'm also trying out a 1-of Spectral Sailor. Haven't got a ton of testing with it, but seems solid, similar ability to Fairy Mastermind. I do have my Flood Pits Drowners in, 4 cut down, 3 go for the throat, 1 anoint. In the sideboard, 2 Ghost Vacuum, 2 negate, 2 anoint, 2 Tidebinder, 2 Eclipse, 2 Withering Torment, 1 Urtai, 1 Aclazotz, 1 Gix's Command. So, a lot of stuff for a lot of different matchups, and very confident in this deck. So, let's just get into the first match. Alright, I'm here in match number 1 playing against Darkest Mage. Maybe that's streamer, YouTuber Darkest Mage. Little shout out. I'm on the play, which I always love to see, with a pretty solid hand. So let's get into it. Start out with a Spyglass Siren. Makes the most sense here. Opponent, it looks like, is on green-black midrange of some kind. Let's crack the map. No need to go for a bat here when it's pretty likely they have a cut down, and they do end up cutting it down. So 1 for 1 there. I will play out a second Siren and pass. Not the best hand for me against green-black. Really need to have some of my bigger removal spells. Opponent knows the matchup is just going to play out a Mosswood Dread Knight on the right side. So let's crack a map, see what we can find. Phantom Interference is good enough to keep. Let's play a bat and take away their removal and get in for 2. So racing pretty nicely here. Do have to avoid this Archfiend, but I do have a Phantom Interference for it as of now. So just pass it back and see what my opponent does. So they're going to get in. I think I take it, and I am going to have to cut this down on end step just to kind of do something, anything really. And hopefully I can find a removal spell so I can counter this Terra Sunder and then kill the Archfiend when it comes down the turn after. I will untap, unfortunately not finding anything, which is pretty bad, especially game 1. Do think I am going to have to counter this for the full mode and hope to just draw removal. Otherwise, they just slowly grind me out with this Dread Knight, and there's not a ton I can do about it. Okay, taking the damage here. Let's pass the turn. I assume a Terra Sunder is in order. It is, so let's hit him with all we got. Hoping to not see this Archfiend land, hoping to find Kaito, a Go for the Throat. One of those two, really. There's also always the possibility that I'm just able to wait out all 4 turns of the Archfiend. Of course, a Flood Pits Drowner would also be an incredible draw here. Let's see what happens, though. Opponent instead goes for a Shieldred, which is very scary. I will get in for 5 damage and pass the turn. Opponent attacks for 4. I'm going to take it. Hopefully they go Archfiend and have nothing else. And in that scenario, I can just tap it down with the Drowner and win the game. And that's what it looks like is going to be happening here. I don't think they have a ton of stuff that costs 1 grain that's actually going to be able to do anything here, so bit of a close one. Opponent definitely very ahead on board, but not the only thing that matters. I'm ahead in life total. Up a game against Darkest Mage. So I'm just going to assume they're running all the demon stuff. And what I usually like to do in this matchup is bring in the Withering Torments, bring in Urtai, just as much big removal as you can get. I do, even though on the draw I will leave in a couple cut downs, just because the elves are pretty scary. Don't think the Sailor is going to be great here, so let's just board that out. And do want the Anoints, and I don't really like the Bats here, so I'll go up a Negate and go up a Tidebinder and stay pretty low to the ground. I do really like to board out the Bats against green-black. They just have so much removal, and it's so dinky. Feels like a lot of my other stuff is better most of the time. So let's give this a try. Right, jumping into game number 2 here on the draw. With an alright hand, I will keep it. I have the ability to kill the elf, though it looks like my opponent does not play it. I do have a lot of land, so let's just go with the Swamp on turn 1 in case there's a Bronco, which not all the lists are running, but good to hold it up. Alright, getting pretty flooded here. That's a lot of lands, more than I'd like to see. We'll see what my opponent goes for. It is a Glissa Sunslayer, so really not doing great in this situation as I draw yet another land. I have to run out this Preacher, don't really have any other plays, can't kill the Glissa and play it slow. And yeah, Glissa's just a beating if you don't have a removal spell for it. I, of course, I have 6, 7, 8 things, maybe even more. I have a lot of ways to kill this Glissa in my deck, but do need to draw them. And we will see what the next thing my opponent runs out is. Looks like they're just going to be, duressing me, so that's not bad. The cut down I don't care about too much. And hopefully not killing my Preacher. And they're killing my Preacher. Okay. And a Llanowar Elves, wow. So, lot of things played that turn by my opponent. I'm just going to run out an island. Not a ton I can do here. I've drawn 8 lands, 3 spells. Happens sometimes. There's always game 3. No answer to this Glissa is also very, very brutal. And opponent is contemplating what giant thing they're going to run out here. Maybe no giant things. Maybe it's a Terra Sunder they want to hold up. We shall see. There's a Forest and a Ritual Chamber. Okay, so make a 6/6 demon. I will flash in the Curiosity and find Phantom Interference a few turns too late. Hit him with the no attacks here, and this one's probably over in just a couple seconds. I don't think I can do much here. No good blocks. And going down to 5. Opponent plays Dread Knight and unlocks the Ritual Chamber, and I think I'm good to scoop it up at that point. So, going into game number 3, I think I'm still happy with the way I've boarded. Could cut a couple cut downs on the play, but they did leave in the elves, so I think I'll keep him. Hopefully my opponent is not currently boarding out the elves. That would be unfortunate, but looks like we're going to hop right back into game 3, and I'm on the play this time. Let's see if we can get a better start and a better hand overall. This is pretty good. So I don't like to run out my mastermind into removal a lot of the time. I'll just go ahead and kill the elf, not let them get ahead on mana, especially when I have so much removal in my hand. And opponent runs out a Mosswood Dread Knight. So I'm just going to play a Preacher and try and get a good mana investment on this turn, spend 3 mana rather than just 2 from any of my other plays. And we'll see what my opponent goes for. A Glissa, so not unhappy about that. That's not too bad for me. I'm going to get to kill the Glissa, get a double trigger off my Preacher of the Schism, which is always great. And yeah, drawing a Curiosity is pretty good here too. Let's just pass the turn, hold up 3 different options for what I can do, and slowly decide which one is best. Opponent goes to attacks, gets in, that's fine with me. I'll take 3. And a Shieldred I will definitely kill. An Annex, that's fine. So let's just flash in the Mastermind, try and draw a card. Looks like they have a cut down, but that's okay. Still feeling pretty good about this. Yep, there's the cut down, but I'm going to get to start drawing a ton of cards on this next turn. So yeah, let's just main phase this. No reason not to. Get in with the Preacher. Draw 1 card. Draw 2 and 3. And can I hit a land? Do hit a land, not a blue one, but as long as I'm making my land drops, I'm pretty happy here. Opponent plays a Scavenging Ooze, probably a kill spell plus Eat, I would assume. Really do need to get this Curiosity out of the way. Not doing anything yet, though. So, what do I want to do here? I think I just want to main phase kill the Scavenging Ooze. And that forces their hand if they want to do anything with it. Yeah, so they can go for this now. But then I can start doing some other good stuff. Scavenging Ooze still goes down. Not drawing as many cards here, but let's just get in with the Preacher. Draw 1. And opponent takes 2. I'll run out a Spyglass Siren and a Restless Reef and pass. Opponent probably just unlocking the Ritual Chamber this turn. It would be nice for me to have an actual hard removal spell to just keep them off of having a creature. It looks like they're going to go for the Soulstone Sanctuary, which I suppose I'm okay with that. And cast a Mosswood Dread Knight. Sure. So they will draw a card, and now they get to ping me for 2. So let's just try and shuffle this away, try and draw some more cards, and just keep them off of having enough. Well, I guess this turn I'd honestly just prefer to get in with all of this stuff, draw a card, see what my opponent does. they take... Oh, control. Aye. Yeah, you can cast that. That's definitely my bad. Should have flashed in the Kaito there. I will keep an Urtai on top, though, and pass the turn. Still doing pretty darn good here. And my opponent just concedes. So yeah, little bit of a misclick there from me, not flashing in the Kaito, but it worked out, and I was pretty far ahead there. So, game 1 on the board, need 6 more to get that day 2 invitation and 12,000 gems. So, let's see if I can get it done. It is time for match number 2, 1-0 so far, beating green-black midrange, with, of course, blue-black midrange. This is a alright hand. Fountain Port very good with the Spyglass Sirens, and looks like another possibly green-black deck. This is very unfortunate here. I do not have the ability to cut down this elf on turn 1, so just going to have to ship it back. See what they do. They go for the Unholy Annex, so time to start drawing cards and losing life. I'm just going to go right ahead and stop them from getting that mana advantage and run out another Siren and start beating down. So the key in this matchup is just never letting them have a demon. You can let them have the cards because their deck is pretty mana inefficient, but you cannot let them have the demon. So here, I'm probably just going to ignore everything that isn't a demon, start beating down in the air. It's going to be very hard for them to race me. And I think I want to just crack one of these maps, at least. Find a Kaito, which is very good here. Let's run out a Gloomlake Verge, get in for 3, putting my opponent down to 11 already. And yeah, if they play out more demons, it's just going to be more beatdowns from me. So, not even able to unlock the Ritual Chamber, which is kind of, I guess it's bad for them, but in a way it's good for them because if they were to just unlock the Ritual Chamber this turn and take a point of damage to do it, that would not end well for them. Alright, opponent goes to eat their own elf. Scavenging Ooze is a nice addition to this deck. It was kind of just missing another good 2-drop. I mean, the Bronco's okay, but it's nothing special. So let's take the damage here, because not too worried about my life total, and I'd much rather kill a Glissa. Okay, opponent draws a card. I will go for the Throat Discuse, just to use my mana, because I'm not holding anything up next turn, and I'm going to start drawing quite a few cards with this Kaito. See if my opponent has a response. Just going to eat my cut down out of the yard. Alright, let's go for the Fountain Port. Go to get in. And see what my opponent does here. They are going to go for the throat, my 2/2 Spyglass Siren. I will ninjutsu in Kaito Shizuki. Kaito Bane of Nightmares, I suppose. Let's, I think, just draw a card here. I do want to find removal. Don't want either of those, really. Let's get rid of those. Play a Spyglass Siren. And pass the turn. So we'll see if my opponent can find another black source, which that's when it starts to get scary because I don't currently have a removal spell for a demon in my hand. They could also just go for a Maelstrom Pulse. I was going to suggest Terra Sunder, or presume Terra Sunder, but Maelstrom Pulse pretty good as well. They go down to 3. Let's just try and crack these maps and hit. Spell, nice. So that's going to do it for game 1. Hit them for 3, and yeah, the Annex really isn't too scary. I mean, we still ended up with the same amount of cards in hand, and it's just pinging them down every turn, which I'm not too worried about. So let's board pretty much the same way as I did last match, bringing in these Withering Torments. These are mostly for the mono-white matchup, or other like more enchantment-based decks, anything with Leyline Binding, or just Caretaker's Talent, but they're pretty good here as just like extra hard removal spells. So pretty versatile. I do like to board out the Deep Cavern Bats, and I think we'll go down the Spectral Sailor again and down 2 cut downs. Well, maybe I want one more on the draw over the negate. Yeah, it's pretty important to kill the elf on the draw, so let's do that. All right, let's get into game number 2 of match number 2 on the draw. With an all right hand, definitely going to keep it. Opponent, again running into this issue of no black mana on turn 1. Let's play out a Restless Reef and be a little bit sad about it. See if my opponent slams an Annex or does something else. Okay, tap land is good for me here. And playing a Mothswood Dread Knight is not ideal for me. Let's just go ahead and cut down the elf so they can't play a 4-drop on their next turn. Pretty happy to cut down plus Tidebinder to take this Dread Knight out of the equation if it does become an issue. So have the answers for pretty much everything in my hand. Just need to find the right opportunities to do them. Honestly, okay with a Liliana here too. Just, I have a lot of excess lands in hand, so don't mind discarding them. As long as it doesn't get too much work done with the -2, Liliana's not too bad for me. So, opponent is drawing a card. Sure. Maybe should have played the Fairy Mastermind, but Deep Cavern Bat. So let's just go ahead and cut that down. Opponent can take a look at my hand. Decides not to take, well, doesn't decide, but doesn't take anything because they can't. So, getting in with the Dread Knight. That's fine, that's fine. And plussing. I think I just want to discard land here and run out the Fairy Mastermind. Let's get in at the Liliana. See what my opponent has in store. Maybe -2ing. I will definitely just Tidebinder that. Okay, so let's Tidebinder the -2. Hopefully can find an untapped land next turn. Opponent cuts down my thing, my Tidebinder. I take 3, and they play a Dread Knight. So do find the untapped land, which is nice. Let's just go ahead and kill this Lily while we can, and pass the turn. In pretty much a top deck war, I'm looking for curiosities, they're looking for big guys. Sure. Let's just tap down the cottage, and I will definitely block one of these, because I do have the masterminds to get my cards back if they decide to draw cards with the Dread Knights. I guess I could have blocked both and just tried to relieve all pressure from myself. Keep getting in, but this isn't too bad for me. See what my opponent does. As bad as it seems, I think I just have to take this. Opponent draws a card, loses a life. I'll draw 2. 1, 2. Cut down is a nice find. And they play a Dread Knight. What do I do here? I think just cut down 1. And, yeah, untap. Draw a card. Just get in with one of these. And pass, just to be safe. Opponent starts with a Fountain Port, goes to combat. So I'll just activate this and go for a block. Maybe they weren't expecting that. All my other plays are pretty bad, so I think I have to do that. And yeah, hopefully keep finding removal or find like a Shieldred or something. Opponent is going to play an Archfiend to the draws and lose a Dread Knight. So let's I think I have to do this main phase just because the 2 life matters if they find a removal spell. So let's kill it now. Pass the turn. Hopefully they start on drawing a card. They find a Restless Cottage. Okay. Yup. So do I double block here? I think no. I think I do not double block. Just jump. They draw a card, lose a life. I draw a card. That's fine. And let's save that for a turn where it's mana efficient. All right, feeling pretty good now that I found that Urtai. Let's hit them, and now a little unfortunate that I didn't push in with one of the Fairy Masterminds last turn, but I really didn't want to die to a removal spell, and I felt like I'm in an okay position if this game goes a little bit longer. All right, so let's shoot that. If my opponent activates another one, then that don't do much. I can just Urtai it. Opponent floats a mana, floats another mana, and it looks like they're activating Fountain Port to draw a card. That is fine with me. End step, I can just Phantom Interference if they do nothing. And if they do something, I can pretty much just counter whatever it is and kill them. So, okay, they let that go through. Makes sense, makes sense. And nothing in attack step. They play Glissa. So, gonna let it resolve, go to end step, kill it, and unless they find a cut down right now and play it right now, it's going to be pretty unlikely that they can win. So let's just animate, go to combat, get in for Exaxes, mill them for 4. Awesome. 2-0 so far. Both times against green black. See you in the third one. Hopefully we can keep this streak going. Right, getting into match number 3 against Spartan Isaac. First time drawing the Spectral Sailor, I believe, with an okay hand against a mulligan to 6 on the draw. Is that a mull to 5? I believe it is. Which, unfortunate for my opponent, but especially in a tournament setting like this, those are the kind of things you have to take. So opponent on Domain. This is, or maybe the Zur deck, I'm not really sure. This is a very good way for them to get back into the game after a mulligan, is the card Up the Beanstalk, but looks like no third land. So let's get in, see if we can get this Kaito down. We can. So that's going to be pretty hard for them to deal with. Let's just make sure we can hit our lands. So don't want either of those. Send them back. And draw a Floodpits Drowner. Heard an alarm going off. Thought it was mine, but was not. So let's get in for 3 again. And try and find an untapped land. I am able to. Let's send the Preacher away, and let's just slam Shieldred, and hopefully can get it done very, very quickly. So they do Leyline Binding. We'll draw a card and lose 2, so I don't mind that. Killing the Shieldred. Kind of have to, but I mean, Kaito's still here. Alright, now I can just start plussing this, kind of have everything I need to win the game, so let's just get it over with as quickly as possible. Opponent probably has to tap out for something here. It is an Overlord of the Mistmoors. Draw a card, sure. I will counter. Play that Spectral Sailor, and just get in for lethal. Let's mill them, see if we can get a little more information. They're on herd migration, so this is pretty stock Domain. Let's get into game number 2. So against them, like the Withering Torments, Don't like the cut downs. The go for the throats are pretty good. Tidebinder's good, of course. Urtai's good. Negates can cut this Anoint and can cut a couple Flood Pits Drowner. So let's rock with that and get into the next game. Oh, should have kept in one other card for a Preacher of the Schism. Don't love Preacher of the Schism, but I'm bored and fast. Let's get into game number 2 on the draw. Pretty good hand. Hopefully no Beanstalk on turn 2. Kind of the best card in their deck. And they have it. Okay. So against this start, if they play the 3-drop, the Avatar, well, I don't even have the option of countering it anymore. So let's just get the Mastermind down, match their card advantage. Tidebinder's a pretty nice one, because if they have Mistmoors, I'm going to be able to Tidebinder it. Don't find a third land, though, so let's bat them. Able to take... really have to take Zur here. Otherwise, I just get Zur'd. So they are on the Zur list, so I might board back in a cut down or 2. They play a 5-mana Haunt Woods this time. I'll draw a card when they draw a card. And find the land. So that is good for me. Let's get in for 3. And, do I bat? Do I pass? I think I just pass, discarding probably this Preacher. I mean, they're so ahead on mana now. It's going to be real hard to do anything. They have a Paw Patch formation to kill my bat. Sure. Now they're going to play Zur. Also, sure. Oh, wow. It already gives that. Lifelink. Okay. So we're going to take away Zur's abilities and need to protect this Tidebinder now. Ay, ay, ay. No lands is rough, as always. Let's just bat. Kind of got to put more pressure on them. Hopefully they don't have 2 removal spells, and that's an Overlord. I'm just going to go to the next one. Not much I can do there. So, I think I can bring back in 1 cut down for a Preacher. Just go with that. Zur is really, really good, so having a cheap, efficient answer to it is very important in the matchup. A little unfortunate on the draws for both of us, but I am on the play for game 3 with a pretty mediocre hand. But I think it's still a keep. Hopefully I don't draw too many more lands. I do have Bat into Urtai, both great cards in the matchup. And Bat into Urtai. Hopefully I can just tempo them out here. Let's take the Get Lost. They play a Meticulous Archive. What can I find? Let's bat first in case they have a 1-mana removal spell. They don't. It is an Overlord. Let's take that. And they play a Zur. Have to name human, or wizard, I guess. That's fine. I will just pass the turn. See what they do here. Play a tapped land. And nothing. So let's just play the Curiosity, because I don't need to rush killing this Zur. And I will do it now, so I can draw 3 cards. They cycle a Herd Migration, which I'm a-okay with. This is looking pretty good for me right now, but I do kind of need to dodge, specifically Sunfall, next turn. Computer got unplugged real quick. Let's draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so some solid ones. Still need to dodge the Sunfall this turn. After that, I will have Urtai up. They play another Zur. Sure, Zur. Let's just run out a Tidebinder to start clocking them a little bit faster. And get in with my 2 creatures that don't die to this Zur. They take 4. I draw a card. I'm okay to play this a little bit slower. Let's play a Fountain Port and a Spyglass Siren and pass the turn. Right, opponent plays a Swamp and goes to end step. So now I'm definitely just going to kill that because I have almost lethal. Don't really need to go for it because I'm going to draw like 10 cards though. Opponent cycles another Herd Migration. Again, that's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't think there's a reason to go for it. Let's just attack with everything. If they have nothing, I guess I'm more ahead, but I'm drawing 6 cards here, so I think I'll be fine. 2, 3, can I find a counterspell? 4, 5, 6, okay. Cannot find a counterspell. Let's just pass. Discard a couple lands. And see if they Sunfall me. Even then, I don't think it's going to be good enough. And 3-0 in the MTG Arena Qualifier. If you're enjoying the content so far, make sure to like and subscribe, and come back for more. See you in match number 4. I am back for what is technically match 5. Match 4, my computer died halfway through. Still made it to game 3, but did end up losing to the Domain Zur deck, which I beat the round before, but yeah. So 3-1 now, going into round number 4. Against possibly the Mirror. Do have a lot of removal, so let's just start on the tap land and get our Painless black mana going. Now, I think here I just want to bat, and I'm okay if they kill it. I don't really want them to mastermind into something good. So yeah, I have the removal that I need to get rid of their stuff, although not for a Kaito. So hopefully that doesn't end up being too big of a problem. They can take whatever they want here, and none of it matters too much. So yeah, we'll let them. I have the go for the throats, though. I'm going to need to find something else for this Shieldred, though. Right, they take a go for the throat, which I don't think is ever right to do, as I do just have another one. But let's play the Verge and pass the turn. Alright, they go to combat. I will flash in a Spectral Sailor. See what they do. They let me block. I will block. If not, I won't. Though, if they just do nothing, this isn't great for me, because they can just slam a Kaito. Shieldred I'm okay with, but Kaito I really don't have any clean answers to. but do have to block, I think. See if they just let this go through. They do. So good plays on my opponent's end. This matchup is, I guess, tricky. And I think they're just going to plus as well, which means I can't run out my Kaito because they can just plus. But I do find a Fairy Mastermind, which is a pretty solid draw here. Hopefully they just slam a Shieldred. They attack. And Surveil, I really don't want them to cut down this. I want them to slam the Shieldred, so I'll just do nothing, I guess. Hey, this Kaito is brutal, though. Yep, let's just play a Mastermind. And will get cut down, but not much I can do about that. Right? Go to combat. Cut down happens now, sure. And I think I'm just priced into slamming a Shieldred here, which is a pretty good draw for me. Definitely a way to get myself back into it. We'll see if they drew a counterspell, though. They did. Unfortunate. Now they get to keep getting in with this Kaito as well as draw some more cards. So, yeah, pretty far behind here. Don't think there's really much I can do to get back into it. Maybe a Preacher could get me a decent distance, but they're just so ahead on cards that it's going to be tricky. And yeah, having the first Kaito, being on the play, really mattering here. Don't think there was anything I could have done super differently. But yeah, let's just pass to them. Think I need to try and block the Kaito with Restless Reef. Okay. Them not attacking would be kind of good. Yeah, I think that's the right attack. So let's just activate this, block the Kaito, and then be really far behind still. Okay, they're going to play a Shieldred, and hopefully nothing else, and a Preacher. And I'm going to be pretty dead. Let's kill that on upkeep. Kind of have to, but yeah, not much I can do here. Let's just go to game 2. So in this matchup, definitely want the Anoint with Afflictions. Probably want... Well, I want the Aclazot's and the Gix's command as well. Tidebinder's okay. Drowner is pretty good. It's a clean answer to the Curiosity. I think I'm going to board... No, we'll keep the Spectral Sailor. It's a fine blocker, and I'm just going to get rid of my Bats. Because, again, they don't do well attacking or blocking in this matchup, and I'll keep a single Tidebinder in. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Let's get into game number 2 on the play. All right, we'll choose to play 2 4-drops, 5 lands. Not great. Got a mulligan. This hand is better. Hopefully they have no turn 1 play. Do have the counter for a turn 2. Let's put back one of the reefs and start on the other. So they play a tap land. I will play an untapped land. See what they do on turn 2. Nothing. Okay. I think I'll just play the Preacher here. If they kill it, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. They play a Mastermind. Like I said, that's fine. And they get in. Okay. Fine by me. I'm happy making the tokens here. And they ninjutsu in a Kaito. Sure. So they're going to tap down my Preacher. And now I'm just going to slam a Kaito, plus it, and pass. They can put my Kaito to 1, but hopefully don't have a Siren to kill it fully. But yeah, they're probably just attacking me so they can try and draw cards. But I'm pretty happy in the position I'm in right now, though it definitely could be better. Seems like they might be a little bit stuck on mana, which again would be very good for me. But yeah, let's just try and get their Kaito off the board and keep mine as alive as possible. Should probably bring in the Urtai or maybe another Tidebinder. I didn't even think about how good Kaito is in this matchup. They play a Siren. Would have been bad for me pre-combat, but it's fine. So let's just tap that down. And then go ahead and kill their Kaito. They'll play a Mastermind. I'll anoint it with Affliction. Okay. So pretty ahead here. Just need to try and keep the lead. Hopefully get this Curiosity down soon. Hopefully counter a 4-drop. That's the plan. Go for the Throat, will resolve, sure. And, okay. So let's just try and draw cards with Kaito here. Maybe plussing is better to get more activations of the -2, because the -2 is real good. But opponent, Fairy Masterminds. It's really wanting me to tap both my, or leave both my Fountain Ports up. No reason to do that. So don't want them to draw a card. Graveyard. Draw that one, and let's just slam it now to play around a counterspell. Opponent is still stuck on mana, which is, again, very good for me. I can crack a map on a tapped creature, which also isn't too bad. I think I might just start plussing this Kaito. Just want to get in for as much as possible. They play a Gix, so maybe just -2ing on the Gix. Nope. Found the Go for the Throat. So let's kill the Gix and get in for 9. Drawing 2 cards on the way. We'll see what I can find. Okay, and that'll bring us to game 3. I'm going to go use the restroom, and I will be back for the third one. Right, so let's change around a couple of the things that I wanted to do. Let's bring in the Urtai and board out maybe the Aclazots. No, let's board out Shelly. As sad as it may seem, it's not incredible here. The matchup is Kaito-based. I am boarding in another 4-drop, so it's okay. Game 3 on the draw. Very good hand. Opponent starts on a Siren. So I'll start on a Darkslick Shores and pass. Let's see what they do. They crack that map. I will happily cut down. If they don't, I may still, although it's not the best play. They're going to do it post-combat, which is, yeah, a play that I've gone for a fair amount too. Might as well get that point of damage in if you think your opponent has a cut down. And do they have a second land? They do. Okay, so let's Siren and crack the map to get some value while I can. Have a lot of removal available to me. Do I want the Mastermind? I don't think so. I think I want to just hit lands. So let's get rid of that and see what they have. Opponent slams a Preacher. So let's anoint it and get in for 2. See what my opponent does next. Land into nothing. Okay. And I draw a Spyglass Siren, which is a very good one here. So I'll get in for 2. See what they do. They're going to cut down my Siren. Honestly, I'm okay with that. It means they are not curiositying me this turn, at least. So, yep, let's just hold up removal. And again, just see what they do. Opponent does nothing. So I'm probably also going to do nothing. I'll get in for 1 and pass. Opponent does nothing. Okay. I'm going to play this now to use my mana and to just try and get some of the removal out of hand. See if they have any responses. Doesn't look like it. Maybe just killing on my end step. Okay. I will go to combat. Attack for 3. They take it and pass. Okay. Still nothing from my opponent. So really looks like they just don't have anything. At this point, I'm just going to run out a 2/2 flyer. Start beating down a little more. Force them to use any removal they do have. Yeah, seems like just a bad draw from my opponent. Okay, Urtai is a good one. Let's get in for 5. See what they do, see what they do. Pass. And opponent does nothing still. Wow, okay, so nothing going on over there. Now they play a Shieldred. That's fine. Let's go to end step, cast an Urtai, see if we can get it through. Might not be able to, but we'll see, we'll see. They Urtai my Urtai. Okay, so I will draw card and lose 2 life. That's fine. Let's kill the Shelly on upkeep. Don't want to take 2 damage if I don't have to. Draw a card. And swing for 5. Run out this Preacher. So I guess they had the Urtai in hand and were just waiting to run it out and counter something. And they lose the match. I win the match. Good for me. Opponent got very flooded. I capped out at 5, so not much they can do, but I'll take those. See you in match number 6, currently 4-1. All right, up against Chia Wei, 4-1 on the draw, but solid hand, depending on the matchup. Hopefully not Domain, but if it is the Zur deck, then the cut downs can still be pretty nice. Up against Mono Red, this is a great hand to have. Okay, just a ton of removal. Let's start with the cut down, and it looks like removal is going to be better against them. Does suck I only have an Underground River for a black source, but yeah, if they're on the more pump spell based version versus the burn version, then this is going to be a much better draw for me. They run out another Emberheart Challenger and attack me. I draw another cut down, but let's just kill this now. Lost 3 life to this Underground River so far. It's definitely looking like it is losable, especially with a Screaming Nemesis here. Find the swamp, finally. So let's kill this now and have double cut down up for more creatures if they play them. but we shall see. Manifold mouse. All right, let's cut it down. Okay, cool. Looking good right now. Let's just try and slam a curiosity. Screaming Nemesis would be the real bad one for me here. I will take a point, but that's okay. Still at 8, which is a little bit low, but not too bad. Let's get in. They take 4. I will draw a card. Find a Fairy Mastermind, which is a pretty solid one here. Let's bat them. Get a little batty. They burst lightning it. Makes sense, but that's 2 damage. That's not going at my face, so fine by me. See a Manifold Mouse and a Monstrous Rage. Okay. Screaming Nemesis. That's the scary one. So let's just do this. Take 3. And get in. Let's 1. Oh. Let's undo that. Excuse me. Do this. Bounce the Mastermind. They take a good amount of damage. I draw 1, draw 2, and gonna tap that one down. Pass the turn. Feeling pretty confident right now, but a couple burn spells could do me in. All right. So let's just start by getting in. I'll attack. Put my opponent down to 2. Draw 1, 2. Let's play the swamp. Play out a bat. Hope they don't have Lightning Strike plus Burst Lightning. Witch Stalker Frenzy, their own. I mean, yeah, that does it. Okay. That's how we can lose this game. Take 5 and die. Definitely could have won if it was any other land other than an underground river, but hey, it happens. So let's board in all the removal and Tidebinders. Board out Fairy Masterminds. A couple, a Kaito, an Enduring Curiosity, and let's board out the second Kaito. And yeah, let's run this back. Maybe out the Spectral Sailor in 1 Malicious Eclipse on the draw. Let's try it. Man. Had to find the Witch Stalker Frenzy. Maybe I'm not supposed to attack, but... Playing the bat pre-combat would have got me there. Yeah, because I could have... Yeah, a little bit of not knowing the matchup. Yeah, if I play the bat, then they can't Witch Stalker Frenzy because the bat takes it before they can reduce the cost of it. So yeah, a little bit of a throw, but that's a tricky one to get. Hopefully I can just draw very well and win the next couple. I will keep this. The Reefs are pretty good at controlling stuff a little bit later. We'll see what my opponent starts with. Nothing. I'm going to do nothing as well. Don't want my bat to run into a shock. See if they have a 2-drop or just nothing. They do. Let's just kill it now. Need to draw some non-land cards. There's a bat, which is fine. And get to take... Do I care about the Forge? Or do I care about the Challenger. I think I care about the Challenger more. Let's take that. And then next turn can take the Frenzy. No blocks. And just try and race. Okay, there's a Gix's command, which is pretty nice. Let's take Witchstalker Frenzy and get in. Opponent attacks me for 2, I'll take it, and plays presumably a Manifold Mouse. Sure. My turn. Let's get in with the boys, the bats. Hopefully opponent will play a Screaming Nemesis. Ugh. Was hoping for it without the land. Good gaming me. Okay, not sure what that's about. I don't think this game is anywhere near over yet. But let's see what they do. Sure. Sure again. Okay. No blocks. They lose their thing, and yeah, I'll just flash this in. So that'll be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess let's just make them sack 1 mouse and put 2 counters on this and give it lifelink. Swing for 6. Hopefully they can't kill me in 2 turns, which they have a lot of damage this turn. Yeah. Maybe I can find a Spyglass Siren. I really need to draw a spell here is what it is. Okay, go down to 8. Go for the throat is great. So let's just attack with everything. 3. And pass. Say sure. Before combat, let's go for the throat, the Nemesis. They can give it double strike or trample. Okay, and I'll activate my Reef. Oh, does Monstrous Rage do it here? They don't have it. Okay. So, against the mouse, you definitely want to bring in the second Malicious Eclipse. And they do have the Forges. So let's bring in the second Malicious Eclipse for, I guess, a Curiosity. Go down to 1. That's fine. I guess it could have been the Phantom Interference too. On the draw for game number 3 against Mono Red Aggro. Very scary matchup. But able to win with pretty medium hand that game too. Hopefully can have something good for game 3. Yep, this is pretty solid. They play a Swift Spear on turn 1. I draw a Swamp. So let's just pass, because if they play the Emberheart Challenger, I'll definitely want to kill that instead. Let's cut down. They have double Monstrous Rage. Okay, that gets both out of hand. I take 8 on turn 2, which is a bit scary. Let's just pass the turn. Hopefully no land Screaming Nemesis, but it's kind of what it looks like here. Go to combat. Emberheart Challenger, sure. So let's just tap down that one. They hit me with the no attacks. Let's get in. Okay, they take 2. I will run out of Preacher. And yeah, just start hopefully accruing some advantages. Really need them to not have a Witchstalker Frenzy for this. Screaming Nemesis. So I'll block. They can choose to trade, or they can choose to deal me 2 and make me unable to gain life. They choose the latter. Let's just get in with this then. Can't gain life. Maybe I'm not supposed to block there. I don't know. See what they play this turn. Would very much like to draw land. Kind of just need to kill them quick now, which is definitely a reason to just slam the Shieldred. Tight game, though. Hoping they just don't have a ton. They get in. Let's block with the Preacher. They Scorching Dragonfire it. Sure. So they'll trade, and my opponent will take... Oh, I will take 2. They'll play a Hired Claw. And... Right. Let's send in with these 2. Opponent takes it. I think this is the turn to play the Preacher. They draw, lose 2. And hopefully are just too far on the back foot to come back. We'll see. Definitely blocking both here. They play a Screaming Nemesis. No attacks. Okay, let's kill it. And just these 2, I think. Don't want to take a point of damage. Pass. And I think that's going to be it. I don't think they can get out of this. Opponent goes to attacks. I will go to blocks. Block like that. Sure. So let's counter the Prowess trigger. I will take 2 damage, go to 3, not going to be enough. Excellent. 5 and 1. Beating Mono Red. Scary matchup. Probably should have won that game 1-2. Could have played a little bit tighter, but have never been in that situation before. So, see you in round number 7. 2 more wins is all we need. All right, match number 7, 5 and 1 against Funky Monkey. With solid hand, let's keep it. Don't like taking damage, but do like having Spyglass Siren on turn 1. Let's play it. Pass. So they definitely don't have a cut down, at least now, which is good to note. We'll see what they do. Okay, Evangel of Synthesis. So this is not blue-black midrange. This is presumably blue-black Reanimator, which let's try and keep around this map for hopefully not a resolved Valgavoth, but it's kind of looking like that right now. Definitely going to have to bring in those negates. I will take 2 damage here. And opponent duresses me. Sure thing. You take a go for the throat. I will just... Let's just play out this Flood Pits Droner. Try and get some more value off of the Fairy Mastermind. Probably not even going to get that out of the way now. Let's just attack. And... Let's just pass. Seems like they have removal up here. Don't really want to run my Preacher into it, if I don't have to. Hoping to not see a Zombify. The Duresses, this is probably one of the matchups where the Duresses are pretty darn good. There's the Zombify. Okay. Let's flash in a Mastermind. Kill the Evangel. Oh, jeez. Bad play on my end. Okay. Yeah, let's scoop it up. Wow. Never played against Valgavoth. Okay, turn 4 Valgavoth, pretty darn good. Let's bring in the Gix's command, because it can do that. Bring in the Ghost Vacuums, the Negates, and out with Anoint, out with a couple Cut Downs. Well, maybe Anoint is better than Cut Down. Let's do that. I don't know how great Kaito is here. I don't think the Flood Pits Drowner is very good. Let's board out Kaito, just try and play a little more control-y, and board out one more. I could board out an Anoint or a Preacher if I'm just trying to play more instant speed. Yeah, let's do that. Going into game 2 against Funky Monkey. See what we can get done. So really want to resolve a Ghost Vacuum on turn 1 if I can, so it doesn't get duressed. Don't have one here, though. Still a good hand. Definitely going to keep. See what we can do. Okay. So yeah, maybe could have won that last one had I played a little bit tighter, but what you gonna do? Let's play the Darkslick Shores and try and get some Fairy Mastermind value here. If they do nothing, I still play it. Yeah, because this makes way for my bat to come down and take something out of their hand. It's gonna take a Cut Down, sure. Steam Core Scholar seems great in this deck. Discarding a Valgavoth is still good. Let's do nothing here. See what my opponent has. They swing, sure. No blocks. That's fine. Let's counter the trigger. And untap. Find a tapped land. Let's go ahead and get in. Still the aggressor here. And see what my opponent has in store. Hopefully just like a Shieldred or something. I mean, I know that's not usually something you're hoping for, but with a Go for the Throat in hand, maybe they duress me. Sure. They discard a Valgavoth. They play another Evangel and discard. What's it gonna be? Okay, let's kill the flyer. And untap, draw, get in for 1. Do I play around the Zombify? Yeah, probably. Well, let's just do this. Let's not play around the Zombify. Flash and Curiosity. Block. Seems like they have the Zombify. Yikes. Do they? Whew, hopefully not. Yeah, they have it. Okay, so there's the Ghost Vacuum. 1 turn off. Let's play a Spyglass Siren. Play a Ghost Vacuum. And pass. See what my opponent does. Plays a land. Oh, geez. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to be able to Wrath my whole board and play it here. Which is unfortunate. I guess I should have held up the Urtai. Went for the greedy play, and probably going to lose now. Let's take the damage. Wow, that deck's kind of sweet, though. Might have to test it out a little bit myself. So they go for the throat, sure. Yeah, this is over. Okay. GG's. GG's. I don't think... yeah, maybe I should have just waited on the Urtai, but it's okay. Never played that matchup before. And I guess I'm not stopping the recording on this one. Let's just get straight into the next one. 1 loss is all it's going to take to get me out, so I got a 2-0 these last 2 matches. In a win or out. So, opponent is on the play. I have a 1-lander, which I'm going to have to mulligan, even though it has a Spyglass Siren. Still can't keep it. Let's throw back... maybe just the bat? No, Flood Pit Drowner is probably the worst one. Let's throw that back. And looking like that's going to work out for me, as they are probably on the Zur deck again. Right? Find a cut down, which is good against Zur. Honestly, not even the worst in this matchup. They play turn 2 Beans. As usual. I will... just bat. Try and stop their turn 3 play, which looks like they don't have as of now. So let's just take the removal spell and pass. They don't find a land. Great for me. Let's slam the Preacher, get in for 1, and pass the turn. All right. I will slam a Shieldred and get in. Let's kill them as fast as possible. Opponent finds the land, plays that. Think it's going to be a little too slow, though. Sure. So let's just keep getting in. Drawing cards, dealing damage. What you want to do with this deck. Opponent draws a card, takes 2. Down to 3. Don't think there's really anything they can do here. Avatar, Sunfall, draw a card. And goes to 1. We'll let that happen. Sure. Play 2 Fairy Masterminds. Yep. Game number 2. Pretty bad draw from them. Got stuck on lands. I'll take it, though. Bring in the Torments. I'd like to keep in, honestly, 3 of these cut downs just for Zur. It's really important to be able to answer that. Let's board out Flood Pit's Drowner, definitely. Preacher. Can board out the Anoint. And, well, yeah, let's just board out the Preachers. I don't love them in this matchup. Send it over to game number 2. Right, on the draw here with a fine hand. Uh, 4 lands is a little bit too many, but I mean, not too many in the long game, but don't want to draw a bunch more. Flooding out is a real issue with this deck, although do have a lot of mana sinks. Have a Restless Reef here, which is something. And opponent leads on turn 1 Forest into turn 2 up the Beanstalk, so not worried about a Zur on the next turn. So let's just pass and try and get some Fairy Mastermind value. Looks like my opponent has nothing, which bad draws on their end, really. Let's get in. Maybe they do have a Go for the Throat or something, though. No, it doesn't look like it. Let's just pass and probably run out Tidebinder regardless of what they do here. Nah, we'll just untap. Play a Swamp. Get in. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a tap land. Sure. And does nothing. Let's draw a card. Draw another card. All right, and play a Fountain Port. Attack for 2. Let's play this to not have to discard. See what they have. Ton of removal. Yeah, let's just take the split up, I guess. Or let's take a Leyline Binding. And yeah, pass to them. They have 3 land types currently. They go for Overlord, so you can draw a card. And it resolves. Let's Tidebind it, though. And still not a ton of types, so let's just get in for 6. Probably win next turn. They can split up, but I can counter that. Which I guess they can't. I mean, I'll be able to tell if they can scroll shift and split up. Okay, so they can't. So pretty safe to just go ahead and counter this. Counter target spell, you may draw a card. Okay. We both draw a card. And that is match number 8. So that was a little, that's going to bring me up to 6-2. One more match regardless. Can I get there? Guess we'll find out. All right, up against Damien VC31 for the win and in, losing out of day 2. Let's see if we can get it done. Looks like we're on the draw here with a solid hand. I mean, not a great hand, but I'm still going to keep it. 5 lands is not ideal. Do have turn 1 and 2 plays, though. And finding a Curiosity is huge here. See if they cut down me. Doesn't look like they even have it by how quick that happened. And up against green-black again. Let's get in for 1 and hope they go nothing, nothing Annex. And I can just start drawing cards off of their Annex. They definitely have something here. They're debating whether or not to play it. They decide not to, so I'm honestly happy either way. If they want to kill my Siren or get card disadvantage, or not use their mana, excuse me. So let's just get in for 1. And looks like now they're going to kill it. Nope, still no. So I'll play a Spyglass Siren. Need to draw some hard removal here for like a Archfiend of the Dross, because that card is pretty darn scary. Are they going to do anything? No, they are not. Okay. So a tap land is great here for me. Now I'm just going to run this out assuredly, see if it eats a removal spell right now. Either way, I'm pretty happy to untap, slam an Enduring Curiosity, find a piece of removal. So yeah, feeling very good right now. Let's draw 2 cards. Super ahead on board, and even on cards in hand. See what they got for me. It is an Archfiend of the Dross, sure. So let's just tap that down. Boom. Draw some cards. 1, 2, 3, go up to 7. And yeah, that's enough for them to scoop it up. Up a game against green-black. Let's board the same way we've been boarding in this matchup. In with the Anoints, in with the Withering Torments, in with the Urtai, up a Tidebinder, up a Negate, down a couple cut downs, maybe just one cut down, down the Flood Pits Drowner, down the Spectral Sailor. And yeah, let's go down another cut down. Oh, right. The bats come out. Okay, so we can keep that, and we can keep... Oh, the Flood Pits Drowners. I don't know why I'm just boarding for a different matchup right now. Let's go 1 and 1, or 3 and 1 for Flood Pits Drowner to cut down on the draw, and maybe I'll switch that around to only having 2 cut downs on the play. Rooms in the Flood Pits are filled with physics-defying juxtapositions. Water will hang from the ceiling or soak into the floors in libraries and meat lockers, making inconspicuous portals for glitch ghosts. Every time I see that one, I'm just like, what? What is a glitch ghost? Why is the portal inconspicuous? Well, I guess it's inconspicuous because it's just, I don't know. What a weird flavor for them to give us. I will keep this on the draw. Do need to find some lands, but for now it's fine. Okay. This ain't looking great. Kaito is not the best draw here. Let's see what they play. A Dreams of Steel and Oil. Nothing I can do about that. Looks like they're going to take... Does that hit? No. So they can take one of my creatures. Both of them do pretty much the same thing. Really playing the control game am I here. Don't mind taking a couple points of damage from an Underground River in this matchup, but I do still really need to hit lands. They take a Tidebinder. Makes sense. All right. Finding a Restless Reef is pretty nice. Let's see what they do. It's going to be nothing. Okay. I will play a land and pass to you, sir. They will. Ay. Fountain Port's a little annoying. Hopefully they play a creature here, honestly. I don't want them to start just getting value with it. Especially when I have no proactive plays I can make, really. Let's just cut it down now. I don't want them to draw a card off it. Kind of annoying. Kind of annoying. What are they doing this turn? Let's see. Looks like nothing is nothing, and I am unable to do anything. Still stuck on lands. This Fountain Port is looking pretty nice here. Opponent hits me for 1. And what are they going to do? Plays a Glissa. Okay. Let's kill the Glissa. Untap. Find a cut down. Not great here. Pass the turn. You may draw a card. Yeah, the problem is I'm just so congested at 4. I don't have the 4th land. So eventually they're going to start getting to do multiple things in a turn, and that's just, whew, hard to beat. All right, let's kill the Glissa. Can't let that live. Untap. Spyglass Siren. It's not a land. It's alright, it's a castable spell. Proactive castable spell. I guess maybe I should crack the map there, but I don't know. This seems fine as well, just hold up my removal. Opponent will go to combat. I'll take one, that's fine with me. And they will play a Restless Cottage tapped. And an Archfiend. Okay. Do I want to kill the Archfiend, or do I want to go for Kaito? No, let's kill the Archfiend. Right. Boom. Okay. Find another Spyglass Siren. Digging pretty deep with no lands here. We'll attempt to get in for one. See if they let me have it. Boom. Once we're past blocks, I can Kaito. If they kill this, that's fine with me. Also, I can just play a Siren, crack a map, land. Nope, don't want that one. Land. Okay, there's a land. So can't hold up cut down this turn, but wouldn't have been the most incredible thing for me to do anyway. I mean, I'm really not doing too bad here. The Ritual Chamber is brutal, but yeah. Ritual Chamber is brutal. They're down to 1 card. Okay, untap, draw. Let's cut down a fish. And pass the turn out. Well, that's okay. Kind of want them to Fountain Port there. Demon, actually. They duress me, sure. Take a Kaito, which is annoying if they have an Archfiend. Otherwise not that annoying. They animate a Restless Cottage. Go to combat. Attack. Exile something. I will Urtai. Just gotta kill this demon before it deals me too much damage. Destroy you. Hopefully they... I was hoping they sacked to Fountain Port. Because that would fizzle the trigger, and they would have drawn a card anyway, but it's okay. Hopefully no more demons from my opponent. We shall see, though. Tap land. And they draw a card and lose 2 life. So let's just main phase this. Go to combat. Get in. Opponent. They're going to tear it asunder. Yeah. That ain't great for me, but hopefully no more demons. Let's play this out. And pass. Yeah, the foods are really going to start stacking up here. I think that might be my downfall in the end. Or a choking miasma. Let's call it after that one. All right. So game 3 on the play. Not the worst place to be. Let's do what we said. Flood Pits Drowner for a cut down. And just ship it back. Hopefully don't get stuck on lands. Hopefully can get ahead early and stay ahead. I will play first with a awful hand. This one's alright. Gonna keep it. Yeah. Let's send back the cut down. It's just the least versatile, and on a mull to 6, I don't want to be caught with dead cards in my hand. Haven't seen an elf yet either, so maybe they don't even have it. Okay. Fountain Port is very nice to have here, though. They play a Dread Knight. Let's just anoint it. And pass. What you got? What you got? Unholy Annex. Sure. Let's do nothing. Let them draw a card. Really would have loved to have a Fairy Mastermind here. Let's play the Shieldred. That's a pretty good draw. Looks like they don't have removal for it right now. Maybe a Terra Sunder, but... just to go for the throat. Maybe drew that one this turn. If I can keep them off gaining any life, though, that's pretty good for me. And wow, there's a Fairy Mastermind, which is just going to be incredible here. Do they play an Archfiend? Let's just make a fish. It's pretty obvious they're holding up removal, so let's just let them keep taking damage and not play into it at all. Go to combat. Get in. Do they block? No? Okay. It's Kaito. Booyah. Probably nothing they can really do here. Let's just... honestly, plus it. Just try and kill him quickly. No, I should have drawn a card. Doesn't really change my clock. Hopefully they slam a demon. Oh, I guess it does if they do this. Let's... let's say okay. I can't do anything too bad to me here. I'd rather just decide what I'm doing later. Okay. Opponent does have the Terra Sunder. They're going down to 7 here. I guess I'll just get them a little bit lower. Very good draw on the Fairy Mastermind. Let's get them down to 5. Pass the turn. Don't think they can do a ton here. But we shall see. Yeah, wishing I drew that card with the Kaito. That is just a hard cast Dread Knight into a Glissa, sure. Okay, I think we just win now. Let's do that. Draw a card. They draw a card as well. Play another Mastermind. And I believe that is the qualification. Excellent stuff, going 7-2 overall, beating this deck 3 times, and then beat Mono Red once, beat Domain twice, and was that it? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I beat, was it the Mirror? Yeah, I think I did end up playing against the Mirror once. I can go back and watch the matches, of course, as can you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will be posting again pretty soon with day number 2. Hopefully it goes as well as today did. See you then.